Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to dive into this brand new explainer with you today. We are unpacking a night of historic highs, truly shocking lows, and some massive cultural shifts. Yep, we're talking about the 2026 American Music Awards. Whether you watched the whole thing live or just saw the clips flooding your timeline, we've got the ultimate breakdown of what really happened, and more importantly, what it all means for the future of music. Now, before we get into all the glitz and glamour, I want you to keep one central question in the back of your mind, okay? Who really ruled the 2026 AMAs? As you're about to see, the answer isn't just about who walked away carrying the most hardware. It's actually about a fundamental shift in pop culture. The old guard is changing right before our eyes, and we're seeing the dawn of a truly global era. Let's figure out how that happened together. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. First, K-pop's historic sweep. Second, the night's biggest winners. Third, the shocking Taylor Swift snub. And finally, the stage spectacle and red carpet.
All right, Section 1, K-pop's historic sweep.
If one narrative defined the night at the MGM Grand, it was the absolute unquestionable dominance of K-pop on the global stage. I mean, BTS completely owned the evening. They took home the biggest prize of the night, Artist of the Year, beating out massive heavyweights like Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift. They also snagged Song of the Summer for Swim and Best Male K-pop Artist. To put that into perspective, that brings their all-time AMA trophy count to an incredible 14. They even opened the show with this fiery pre-tape performance of Hooligan before making a really powerful live appearance. And during their acceptance speech, RM was super open about the immense pressure they felt navigating their new sound. Then V just stepped up and closed it out with 3 perfect, simple words of advice for everyone. Keep swimming.
And this brilliantly illustrates an immediate, undeniable ripple effect. The global girl group Katseye had an absolutely incredible night. They picked up Breakthrough Pop Artist, Best Music Video, and New Artist of the Year. Guys, they're actually the first girl group to win New Artist of the Year since 2004. Think about that. But what's really cool is that in their biggest moment, they took the time to honor the lineage of their genre. They directly shouted out BTS for paving the way and inspiring them to represent their culture globally. You can literally see the torch being passed and shared right there on stage.
But the sweep didn't stop with traditional groups either. We saw this incredible, unprecedented crossover from Hunter/X. Get this. EJA, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami are the real-life voice actors behind the animated series K-pop Demon Hunters. Their track, Golden, was an absolute juggernaut. It held the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 consecutive weeks before the ceremony even happened. So at the AMAs, they managed to translate that animated soundtrack into major cross-genre hardware. They swept Song of the Year, Best Pop Song, and Best Vocal Performance, while the album itself took Best Soundtrack. Just a wild success story.
Moving right along, Section 2, the night's biggest winners.
Beyond the K-pop phenomena, a fascinating pattern of multi-award dominance emerged. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this perfect rule of 3 that played out across completely different genres. Check this out. In pop, Sabrina Carpenter took home 3 awards, including Album of the Year for Man's Best Friend. In rock, Somber grabbed 3. And in R&B, the 24K Magic himself, Bruno Mars, matched them with 3 of his own, including Best R&B Album. It was just this beautifully symmetrical night of recognition across the entire musical spectrum.
But we have to talk about why these wins actually matter. Because these weren't just standard, everyday victories. For Sabrina Carpenter, who, let's be real, has been steadily building her pop empire for years, these were her first ever AMA wins. No way, right? And Somber achieved his massive 3-trophy sweep as a first-time nominee. It was a night of ultimate breakthrough validation for a totally new class of headliners.
But sometimes the loudest noise comes from silence. Section 3, the shocking Swift snub.
In award shows, the artists who don't win often create the absolute most buzz. The expectation going into the night was centered entirely on Taylor Swift. I mean, she led the pack with 8 nominations, an absolute juggernaut. But the reality? She left the MGM Grand with 0 wins. So the crucial point here is the sheer dramatic tension of the most nominated artist of the night getting completely shut out.
To understand why the internet basically exploded, you just need to know one number: 40. That is Taylor Swift's all-time AMA win record. She is literally the leading AMA winner in the history of the show. So for her to walk in with 8 nominations and leave completely empty-handed is an incredibly rare, almost unthinkable statistical anomaly. It injected a massive dose of dramatic tension into the aftermath of the broadcast, proving once again that the music landscape is actively shifting beneath our feet.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our final act. Section 4. Performances and red carpet. Because beyond the trophies, the AMAs are all about high glamour and deep nostalgia. And the producers pulled off this incredible 30-year nostalgia loop. Look at this. Back in 1995, Queen Latifah hosted the AMAs. In 1996, Hootie and the Blowfish won New Artist. Now, fast forward to 2026, Queen Latifah returns to the stage to host for the first time in 3 decades, and Hootie and the Blowfish return to perform their classic 90s hits. It was a total masterclass in connecting generations and anchoring this brand new era of music in some seriously beloved history. And the stage moments? They went instantly viral. We had the Pussycat Dolls returning in red latex and actual flames alongside Busta Rhymes. Rock legend Billy Idol completely brought the house down with a Lifetime Achievement medley, which, crazy enough, was his first ever AMA performance. On the newer side of things, Sombra delivered a literal rain-soaked set. I really hope they waterproofed the mics for that one. While Karol G balanced out the energy with a beautifully intimate performance of Ioni Bonita before she accepted her International Artist Award of Excellence. But of course, the spectacle started long before anyone actually hit the stage. The red carpet was pure glamour. From Katseye and Queen Latifah to Teyana Taylor, Hilary Duff, and Tinashe. Glorilla, EJ, and Karol G all made some major fashion statements too. These were the artists setting the whole visual tone for the evening, commanding absolute attention before a single envelope was even opened.
Which brings us to our final thought. With global groups like BTS and KCHA sweeping the top honors, animated voice actors taking home Song of the Year, first-time nominees tying industry veterans, and legacy acts reclaiming the stage, are we entering a totally new borderless era of pop culture? The data from the 2026 AMA strongly suggests that the old rules just don't apply anymore, and music truly is becoming one unified global conversation. Think about that next time you update your own playlists. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and